case of Mr. Singh from India, the undocumented illegal alien who obtained a Class A CDL from the state of Washington. Mr. Singh was in the state of Florida on the turnpike and decided to do a illegal U-turn. A emergency response U-turn lane only, made for with a semi-truck. Occupants of a minivan, 3 individuals, slammed into Mr. Singh's trailer. They were killed, unalived, by a reckless individual that should have never, ever been allowed in a semi-truck, should never have been issued a CDL. Mr. Singh has had a previous accident where he unalived 2 others, and he's responsible for the collapse of a bridge in Arkansas. Mr. Singh does not speak English, yet he was given a license to kill. All states should not at all issue any illegal aliens licenses. And yes, I am talking car or any vehicle. This is a dangerous practice, and I would like to know everyone's thoughts about this illegal alien driving a semi-truck and obtaining a CDL. Hello, Juan. Welcome. I would like anyone's input about this accident. It wasn't an accident. Mr. Singh, within 24 hours of unaliving these 3 individuals in Florida, attempted to flee the United States to go back to India. Just hours from boarding a flight to India, he was detained by ICE. This is a dangerous precedent that needs to be addressed. And if you can't speak English and you can't prove that you're here legally, you should not be driving on U.S. highways, especially semi-trucks. Good morning, Janet. Nice to see you. I thought I would do a stream this morning about the illegal alien who unalived 3 in Florida by doing a illegal U-turn on the Florida Turnpike. His co-driver, a relative, also tried to flee the United States. This is so unnecessary, and we, the citizens and those that are here legally should be protected by our government, not watching citizens of the United States get killed by people that are here. First of all, they're illegal, and they should not be able to obtain a Class A CDL from any state. And I think the victims' families should be able to sue the states of Washington, who issued the license, the states of California, who extended the licensing process, the state of New Mexico, that did a DOT inspection but still let the guy drive, as well as Arkansas. The same individual knocked down a bridge in Arkansas. Where is the accountability at the state level? How many more U.S. citizens have to die at the hands of a person in a truck that doesn't deserve to be there? I think it's time that we not only support ICE, but ICE is at all truck stops, rest areas, and way stations. As a retired trucker, I know what I'm talking about this morning. It's highly upsetting to me to watch that video. First of all, he did not have the proper room to make such a maneuver. Second, you don't do U-turns in a truck. You just don't do it. Mr. Singh was involved in 2 other unalivings while he's been driving truck. Mr. Singh did enter through the U.S.-Mexican border illegally in 2018. Mr. Singh was given instructions by Florida state troopers not to leave the state until the investigation was over. The next day, both Mr. Singh and his relative jumped on a plane and flew back to California and were preparing to jump on a plane to India that night. I don't care what side of the aisle you vote or support. Undocumented people should not drive semi. When I got my CDL, I had to go to school for 6 months. And then when I went to my first assignment at Stevens Transport, Dallas, Texas, I had to go through their school of another 6 weeks. And upon completing that, then and only then was I assigned a trainer who I had to go out on the road for another 6 weeks with. Then I had to come back for a week's advanced training At that time, I was put with another driver, and we had to go out on the road for another month together before I was allowed to drive solo. I do agree that the Department of Transportation has put many laws on the books that aren't necessary, but at the same time, there needs to be accountability upon every truck driver. Folks, if you don't know it, a truck fully loaded is 80,000 pounds. Yes, I did say 80,000 pounds. That's a deadly weapon. And you must be properly trained how to operate a truck fully loaded. And folks, as the motoring public, as a retired truck driver, I need you to know a truck at 80,000 pounds does require, if that truck driver needs to stop a 80,000 pound deadly weapon truck, he needs 2 football fields to stop. Yes, you heard me right. 2 football fields. That's 200 yards. And Janet, I see that you drove, but you know as well as I do, that truck, there's certain things you must know about a truck. You should never, never stop or cut off a semi truck. If you're on the highway and passing a semi truck, you should not get back over until you're at least 2 semi truck lengths ahead of him. And you should always turn your turn signal on and wait to the count of 10 before switching lanes. Highway safety must be taught during driver's ed. As a former truck driver, I can tell you I was cut off. I had people come around me and then they slam on their brakes. And they wonder why that semi truck horn is going off. If you're going to pull that stunt, you have a death wish. Because that's 80,000 pounds coming at you. But these 3 individuals that lost their lives because the state of Washington messed up and gave a illegal alien who entered the United States without the proper channels from India a license, and that was a license to kill. Not only should this truck driver be sued by, I wouldn't even call him a truck driver, this illegal alien, by the families, but every state that cited him or gave him any kind of licensing. The state of Washington gave him a CDL. The state of California gave him a non-domicile license, meaning they knew he was from a different country. And the trucking school he supposedly attended was shut down 3 years ago, and over 80% of their trainees lost their CDLs. I know one they missed. And then this year they had reopened, and then this year they finally got shut down for good. Folks, we need ICE at every truck stop, rest area, and weigh scale in our country. I call it weigh scale, but if I'm going to be honest with you, I call it a chicken house because they're usually small, like chicken coops. As a former semi-truck driver, OTR stands for over the road, who was professionally trained and licensed, properly licensed no less. These states that failed the system, Washington, California, New Mexico, their Department of Transportation should be overhauled immediately. Any state in the United States, such as the state of Michigan, who give illegal aliens licenses should lose all federal funding. These licensing of illegal aliens, many of them do not speak our language. And don't attempt to learn. This is a dangerous precedent of many states that lean the way California and Washington do. I am not political. I do care about the motoring public's right to the highway and be safe. And I do care about all drivers being properly trained. I don't care if it is a four-wheeler, meaning a car, truck, whatever, or a semi-truck. Every driver upon our highways in the United States should be properly trained, licensed, and assured. And yes, even a car can be a deadly weapon. This is very dangerous, and I would like everyone to call their legislators and push to have ICE and other federal officials at weigh stations, rest stops, as well as truck stops. Because many of these illegals, they'll bypass the weigh station. They'll run it because they don't care. They will run the weigh stations. In many states, that DOT officer's there by himself. He doesn't have time to close it down, jump in his truck, and go chase it. By then, that guy's up 4 or 5 miles, and he might have already been off on the exit. We need all weigh stations open for business 24/7. Yes, when I drove truck, it was a major pain to see the small word. The small word is open, folks. because that does slow down that truck and also takes time out of that trucker's driving time every day. If you don't know it, in the United States, a driver must have 10 hours worth of rest. Notice I didn't say sleep, it's rest. And must go the trucking speed. Many states it is 65 miles an hour. And he is required to pull into all open waste scales. They are required to have a DOT physical and have their medical card, which comes from that physical, reported to the Department of Transportation, and must carry that card upon their person. And yes, folks, Mr. Singh, the resident of India, after killing the two or the three, was told by Florida state troopers to stay at the hotel until the investigation was over. The very next day, Mr. Singh and his co-driver, a family member, were allowed to board a plane to California, Scottsdale, California, no less, where they immediately started trying to retrieve items to leave the United States going to India when U.S. Marshals caught up to them. Folks, it's not about the illegal aliens. It's about the illegal aliens that are doing things that they should not be doing, such as driving truck. And Mr. Singh and his relative are not the only culprits. There are thousands of them out on our highways driving truck who can't speak English, don't comprehend highway signs. Every American needs to be on that phone to their congressman right now and blocking illegal aliens from getting licenses. They should not be allowed to drive. I don't care if it's India, China. I don't care if it's someone from England. If they don't know how to drive and are not properly licensed in our country or theirs, and don't understand basic traffic laws, they should not have a license to drive. Put a 1 in chat if you agree with my stance. Yes, Mr. Singh and his relatives were preparing to leave the United States. He is now being extradited and charged in the state of Florida. This is very dangerous, folks. We need to make sure every driver in a semi truck, folks, that semi, when it's fully loaded, is 80,000 pounds. That is a deadly weapon. Your car is a deadly weapon. And I don't want anyone to lose their life because of a state that says illegal aliens should be able to obtain driving privileges, especially in a semi truck. Matter of fact, the license that is required in a semi is a CDL Class A. A CDL. What do you suppose the initial stands for? It stands for a commercial driver's license. Class A means 80,000 pounds and less. And then it goes Class B, which tends to be CDL Class B, tends to be bus drivers like your buses in the bigger cities. And then you have chauffeurs. Chauffeurs tends to be your taxi cab drivers. Technically, your pizza delivery people are supposed to have one, but many of them do not. They should have a chauffeur's license, meaning you're driving to obtain money. And that would include your Uber, your Lyft, or whatever rideshare service you use. And that would even go for your grocery delivery people if you use one of the onlines. Your Upsman, your Uber Eats, your Walmart delivery, all of that. By law, you should have at least a chauffeur's license. Now, if you're driving a bus, such as your public transportation, you should be properly licensed at a Class B license with a passenger endorsement. Passenger endorsements mean you have completed your training and you can handle a bus with 17 passengers or more. A Class A CDL means you can drive 80,000 pounds in your truck. Just like you need a motorcycle endorsement to drive motorcycle. I have some pretty bad things to say about that endorsement. They should really drive home the fact if you're on a motorcycle, you need to give the same rules to the road as everyone else. You do not own the road, and you're expected to keep it within certain rules, just like a bicyclist. I hate when I'm on the road, even in my vehicle, my car. I still have my CDL. I don't drive. But you see motorcyclists and bicyclists go 2 or 3 deep in a lane. That's improper use of lane. Bicyclists are supposed to be within 3 foot of the far right lane. Bicyclists are to obey all traffic signs, just like the motorized public. But, folks, what I'm trying to get at is the United States needs to step up the safety around big trucks, and there should be a nationwide campaign to make the public realize how much a truck weighs, the proper stopping distance for a truck that is fully loaded. And again, 80,000 pounds of truck, that's 40 tons when they're at 65 miles an hour, which is the speed limit for a fully loaded truck. They need a area exceeding 2 football fields. Yes, football, American football fields. And if you haven't hit that like and subscribe button, please do. They need 2 football fields, folks. It's important when you're behind the wheel of a vehicle to be aware of all vehicles that are on that road, all semis and other drivers. And yes, when I drove, truck drivers had what we called driver etiquette, meaning you use your turn signals and you just didn't get over. If there was a truck in back of you in the lane you wanted to get into, you did not go back over until they flashed their lights at you. Then you went over, shut off your lights, and either used your hazards to say thank you. I'm just wondering if there's any truck drivers in the chat, if you have anything to add. And yes, Mr. Singh, the person responsible for this bad accident in Florida, has been extradited back to Florida, where I'm sure as soon as he lands, they're going to make sure he's in custody and cannot leave, as well as his relative. I am not racist. All I expect is be qualified for what you're driving. Be behind the wheel legally. The U.S. Department of Transportation needs to do a full press throughout the United States upon trucks. They need to be everywhere a semi truck goes. That means warehouses. That means rest areas. Because many of these guys will not go to truck stops at night because they're afraid DOT might check them. So they hide out at either rest areas or they'll pull up on the side of the road and sleep, like on an exit. This is very, very dangerous, folks. So the next time you're out on the interstate and you're around a semi, Think about the stopping distance that semi-truck needs. And remember, if you're behind one and you can't see his side mirrors on both sides of his truck, guess what? He can't see you. That semi truck is 95 foot of a deadly weapon. Yes, folks, even your car is a deadly weapon. Let's face it, metal kills. If you're a driver in the United States, or any country for that matter, you should be held responsible while you're driving. You should be able to speak the language and comprehend the language. You should be able to read and comprehend. Folks, I'd rather see someone 18 to 21 driving a semi truck than I would illegal aliens who cannot speak the language, that don't understand that the motoring public just wants to go home and see their family. They want to go home. Hey, Spawn, nice to see you. Spawn, I'm talking about the unaliving by a Indian nationalist who was here to illegally, that was driving semi in Florida, and unalived 3 people. He was given a CDL, which is a Class A CDL, which is a commercial license to drive truck by the state of Washington. After he caused the unalivings, he attempted to flee back to California, pack his bags, and flee back to India. Well, I think there should be accountability, not only upon him and his co driver, but the states that let him go through the system knowing that he was illegal. Spawn, if you didn't know it, I'm a former truck driver. And here in the United States, that truck is 80,000 pounds of deadly weapon. So it's concerning to me. And yet this man thought he could disobey a Florida state trooper that instructed him when they dropped him off at the hotel, do not leave the state of Florida. The next day, they were boarding a plane to Stockton, California. Well, Spawn, here's another thing. The truck driving school that he attended in Washington State shut down a couple years after he attended, and over 80% of their drivers that they had graduated had their licenses, meaning their CDLs, pulled. And Spawn, he entered the United States through the border with Mexico, 2018, undocumented, meaning he crossed illegally. That's like getting in a cockpit of a jet aircraft and flying it and crashing. It's not right. It should not be allowed. Personally, I think all three of the deceased from this accident, family members, need to file a federal lawsuit against every state involved, and any state that gave this man a license should be on the hook for any damages. I agree 100%, Spawn. When I drove, you had to have a medical card, meaning you had to go through a full physical where you not only did you have to go through a physical, but you were also tested for sugar diabetes. Your sight was tested. Your hearing was tested. And you better be able to hear a siren. I don't care how faint of a siren. You should be able to hear it. I was taught to keep the radio down as far as you can, but you still can hear it, so you can hear sirens while you're driving. Matter of fact, I had someone ride with me the other day, and I heard a siren. And here in the state of Michigan, you must pull to the right side of the road until that siren goes by you. And I heard it, and I just pulled over, and the person that was with me looked at me like I was crazy, and they said, "Why are you pulling over? There is no siren." And I said, "Wait for it." Not even 30 seconds later, they're like, "Oh, I hear it." But they didn't hear it when I heard it. And Spawn, people here in the United States are all concerned about ICE going into all these areas that illegals are in. I'm sorry, but ICE should be at every weigh station. That's where the DOT checks the weight of the vehicle, make sure it is 80,000, not above. Oh, absolutely. But the thing is, Spawn, I watched a report earlier today. It's not his first unaliving. In 2021, he had unalived two others. Within 6 weeks of that unaliving, he took out a bridge in Arkansas. Oh, absolutely. I think ICE, which is our Homeland Security, need to be at all way stations, all rest stops along the highway, and all truck stops. Well, I agree with that, Spawn. And not as only is it incompetence there, but it's also incompetence by the states that issued the Class A CDL, commercial driver's license. That'd be the state of Washington and California. New Mexico did a full uh, uh, inspection on this gentleman and still let him drive, even though he could not speak English and didn't comprehend English. Where's the accountability at that level? I believe the three that just were unalive, family members, should be suing New Mexico, California, and Florida. And I'm not talking pocket change. I'm talking they should be suing for hundreds of millions of dollars from every one of those states. Okay, I appreciate that, Spawn. And if you haven't already hit that like, if you're watching, please hit that like and subscribe. But I thought I would do a different type of stream today. And tomorrow, Spawn, so you know, about 4:30 Eastern Time, I will be doing a classic muscle car shows. We have a classic cruise that's going through the center of the state, and I'm going to go do a live from there. So if you like classic American cars, please pop in. And that goes for everybody. I'm going to be doing a classic. It's called the Michigan US 27 Classic Car Cruise. It's a cruise from Coldwater, Michigan, which is the bottom part of Michigan, to the Mackinac Bridge. That is the bridge that goes between the lower peninsula and the upper peninsula. It is the single span bridge, the largest single span bridge in the northern hemisphere, and it is 5 miles long. I'm not going to the bridge, I'm just going to do the cruise. So if that's something you're interested in, please join me. And I don't mind if you do a rewatch. Just make sure you hit that like and subscribe if you haven't. I'm trying to come up with new content and expand my hours of watch time. I have the 100K or 1K. So I meet YouTube's qualifications there. It's the watch time that I do not have, and I'm trying to improve that watch time. And I'm also going to be going to a local cider mill here in a couple weeks when they crank up. So I'm trying to expand what I'm doing. And I appreciate everyone that's tuned in. And please make sure you hit that like. That would be the best favor I could ask from you. And if there's anything you want me to cover, please send me a message. But please remember, I'm into rescuing animals and public interest. I am a family friendly channel. That's scary, Spawn, I wouldn't want anyone that cannot speak English on any road. I don't care if it's the United Kingdom or Germany, the US, Mexico, or Canada. I don't care. You should be able to understand. But like I said, I wanted to talk about something that is current, and I plan on doing more streams about this when more information comes out. Um, he has been extradited and charged with all three unalivings. I don't understand how anyone. Hey, Tom, we're talking about the unaliving of the three individuals in Florida by the illegal alien driving semis this morning. And Spawn, if you don't know Mr. Gillis, he has a YouTube channel himself, and so does Spawn, Tom. Yes. And he cannot leave the United States. He's now, ICE has blocked him from leaving the United States. I don't understand how these states are issuing licenses to the undocumented or illegal aliens. What is going on? Why are we allowing this? Janet, I would encourage you. I don't know how to put Tom's channel in chat. I would need my moderators, and none of them are here today. But check out Tom Gillis Golf Instruction. He does a lot of lives, and he needs some viewers to get his monetization back. But yeah, how do we allow truck drivers or foreign nationals? He can't parallel. Wow. Tom, I'm going to be honest. I would scare you on how fast I can back up a car and put it center in a trucking or in a parking spot backing up. I can do it about 40 miles an hour. And not touch any vehicle or obstacle on either side of me. Well, I believe what Sean Duffy, the transportation secretary, is going to do. Federal DOT is now, Department of Transportation, is going to withhold federal tax dollars to any state that is caught issuing illegal aliens licenses, especially when they do not understand English. I totally agree with that. Not only that, but the states responsible for letting this guy drive should be sued by all three of the families. And the fact that this guy caused two other unaliving since he's been in the United States, where he illegally entered in 2018. Guys, in 7 years, he's killed five. Yes, I did say five. FIVE people. It's time we get a hold of our legislators. It's time they stop this nonsense. Just like Tom said, his son was failed his driver's test because he couldn't parallel park. Hey Tom, make sure you sub up on Spawn Troopers as well. But as you see, I'm very passionate about this. Yes, I am definitely upset that this has occurred, and I pray for all three of the victims. And I pray for the victims of the United States that this guy came here illegally and has done so much damage in 5 years. So to recap, this guy's okay. He's been here since 2018. Since that day, he's killed five. He has taken out a bridge in Arkansas. And Tom, Spawn Trooper has a lot of banter. And Spawn, don't take this the wrong way. When I first met Spawn, I commented because he was, I forget which stream I met him on. I think it was Veteran Nation. And he said that Bush was our president still. So I was joking banter wise, and I said, well, how is your Queen Victoria? And I don't mean anything by that, Spawn, you know that. But that just shows you. And every now and then I'll say, hey, Spawn, who's the president? But like I said, I was just trying to get ahead of, I wanted to do some more content that would get me more hours. I'm trying to get my hours up. So this is one way I think I can do this by doing stories. And I plan on doing this all the way through the trial, even to Porsche when he gets deported. And Spawn, you notice that I apologized before I even brought it up. But Spawn is a good chap. He's over in England. And he's also a veteran. And I respect that, Spawn. You know I support the military 100%. But I've been babbling for an hour. I appreciate everyone that's tuned in. And I'm going to take the dogs out and mow the front lawn. So it, you all have a blessed day, and I'll catch you on the next one. If I don't catch you here, I will catch you on your own channels. Oh, you live in Wales. That is cool, Spawn. I'm part Welsh, by the way. So y'all have a good day. God bless.